Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited you all are here today. Today I wanted to show you how to make my favorite sugar cookies. I get this request all the time from my friends and family because they absolutely love my sugar cookies. So I wanted to share my secret recipe with you guys so that you can enjoy sugar cookies at home as well. All you need is butter, eggs, which I only have egg whites right now, so I'm gonna try it out with that and see how it goes, but I typically will just do one egg, sugar, vanilla, flour, and baking powder. It is Halloween in a couple of days, and so I got these super cute Halloween cookie cutters, so I wanted to show you them. I got this little witch's hat, a little ghost, which I was able to find one that was bigger than some others because I want my sugar cookies to be decently big, but not too big. And so these cookie cutters turned out to be the perfect size. I got a pumpkin, a cat, which I'm so excited. My kids are gonna love that one. And lastly, a bat. So now we're gonna make our dough. I'm gonna be doing a quadruple recipe. I will write the recipe down below for just a single recipe, but just know that I'm gonna be doing 4 times the amount for each ingredient because I have a ton of sugar cookies I want to be able to give to other people. I love being able to bless others and encourage others, if you haven't noticed by my channel. And so since Halloween is in a couple of days, I want to be able to give some sugar cookies to the garbage people that come pick up our garbage and recycling, and they come tomorrow. So that's actually why I'm doing this today, because they will be here tomorrow and I just want to leave a little package of sugar cookies for them since they do so much for us, and then be able to give some to my old neighbors where I used to live, and then also be able to give some to my new neighbors so that I can meet them and we can start getting to know each other more. So I have 4 cups of butter here that I melted. And you can see it's still soft, but not liquidy. So what I do is I will put it in the microwave and set the timer, and then I did power level 50 or 5, depending on how your microwave works. Sorry, I'm a little high. Depending on how your microwave works, and it just came out super soft. So I was able to get this so that it's a perfect consistency. And then we'll do 1 tablespoon of vanilla, which again, I'm doing 4. We'll do 1 cup of sugar. And then we're gonna do 1 egg, which again, I'm doing egg whites. So it's a little bit different. I've actually never done egg whites, so we'll see if they turn out, but that's just all I had right now. And I really need to make these now so that they can cool off and we can decorate them tonight. And then we're gonna mix it all together. And then you'll just mix it all together. If you had your eggs, you'd want to make sure they were beaten really well. And then 3 cups of flour. That is a lot of flour. And then we'll add 2 tablespoons of baking powder, not baking soda, baking powder. I split the dough in half just because it's so big, because I'm making so much. And then we're gonna take our blender. When I only do 1 recipe, I can do it by hand, but this is just a little bit too much. So then we'll mix it really good, but not too much because you don't want it to get hard. So we'll mix it just until it's all mixed together well. And you can see it's turning into a dough ball, and that's when we know we're done. And then I switched it out, and now I'm gonna do the other half. Now that we have our dough done, we're gonna roll it out. So in order to do that, we're gonna take some flour, just sprinkle it down. Take our dough, and again, I'm doing, this is half the dough, so yours will be even half of this if you just do 1 recipe. And then typically we'll just put it out with my fingers a little bit, and then put some flour on your rolling pin, and then just roll out your dough. And you want it about 1/4 an inch. So I used to roll it out too thin and they were more crunchy. So if you like them crunchy, that's fine. I like mine soft and almost squishy. So I highly recommend keeping them a little bit thicker. That is the biggest trick to getting them soft. There you go, just like that. And then before we cut out our cookie cutters, we're gonna preheat our oven to 350. I just realized that I didn't have any parchment paper, so I ended up just sprinkling a little bit of flour on my pan so that the cookies don't stick to it. I was able to use the cookie cutters and get some awesome different shapes. So I did pumpkins, I did kitties, I did a witch's hat, some bats, and you can see they're close but not super close. So they are going to expand quite a bit. So you want room for them to grow, and you can see that they are pretty thick, which is why I have to make so much dough because I like mine really thick. It makes it super soft. So I'm gonna wait for the oven to preheat and then we'll throw these in for about 8 to 10 minutes. You can see I have a couple cookies here from the first rollout that I'm going to put on a second pan so that when this pan is done cooking, I can just throw this one in again and then add more cookies to this pan so that it just goes a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna add these cookies to that other pan and then roll out another. Oh, our oven's preheated. Let's throw this in the oven. We'll just take our cookies, set them, I'd say like in the middle. I typically will set it for 8 minutes and just see how done they are. Alexa, set an 8-minute timer. And then let's roll out this dough. All right, so we have our next pan done, so we can just throw this in right when the first pan is done cooking. And then I'm just gonna keep rolling it out. I've been doing it, but I didn't video it. Just roll it out until all the dough is gone, and then I'll take the next batch, but I want this one to finish first so that it's not rolling out in a ton of more dough because it will get harder the more you roll it. That was kind of a bad one. I wasted a lot of dough for one cookie, but that's okay. We'll just roll it out again. And I just keep doing it until all the dough is gone, and then I'll show you what I do at the end with the leftover dough. Right, you can see I have just a little bit of dough left over, so I'm gonna squish it in my hand, and then I'll add the dough just like this to the pan. All right, so let's check the cookies. Okay, they're not brown on top there, so we're gonna add 2 more minutes. I find that the first batch takes a little bit longer, I think because the pan has to heat up still. And so we're gonna cook that one a little bit longer, and then I set a 2-minute timer, so we'll check it then. The timer just went off again. You can see they're not quite done. So I'm gonna add another 2-minute timer. Just so this dough isn't sitting out, I'm gonna throw it in the fridge. And honestly, I find that that really helps the butter thicken a little bit, and it makes the cookies really yummy. So I ended up having to cook them quite a bit longer. I don't know if they're thicker or why, but they are finally done. We'll just set them out here to cool off, and then we'll throw in our next pan. And then we're just gonna repeat with the other dough and roll out more cookies and cook more cookies. All right, we finished all the cookies. All right, our cookies have cooled off. I actually let them cool off for a couple hours until they're super cool. And now we will make our frosting. So this is royal frosting. I will just take some powdered sugar. So we're gonna do 3½ cups of powdered sugar. I normally would sift this, but I can't find my sifter right now. And I thought about using just my strainer, but I think that would make a mess everywhere. So I'll do 3½ cups. So I have 3.5 cups. So if you don't sift it, sometimes you get little lumps, and I'll just deal with that if it happens because I don't want to make a huge mess. And then this is meringue powder. I just get it at Michael's. So I'm going to take 3 tablespoons of meringue powder. You can also use egg whites. And then I'm going to grab some water. And then we're going to do 6 tablespoons of warm water. 4, 5, 6. And then we'll mix it all together. Super easy. And you can change the consistency by either adding more water to make it runny or adding more powdered sugar to make it a little bit thicker. So you just stir it in really good. And it's kind of crazy how just a little bit of powdered sugar or a little bit of water can change the consistency a ton. So when if you do want it thinner and you're adding water, I would add it really slowly because it will change the consistency really quick. Okay, this is a little bit, you can see it's pretty runny still. So I'm actually gonna add a little bit more powdered sugar. Because I'm not weighing it, it is gonna vary a little bit each time. So I'm gonna add a little bit more. I like it decently thick so it doesn't run off the cookie. So I just added maybe 1/8 of a cup and it changed it a ton. So I'm gonna finish stirring this up, trying to get any clumps out that I can see. Most people have 2 different types of frosting. They have a thicker one for the outer edges, and then they have a little bit runnier one called the flooding for the inside. I have been able to make it so that it is not too runny for the outside, but it floods really well. I think this is pretty, I don't know, that might be a little bit too runny. I'm gonna add a little bit more, just a little. I just don't want it to run off of the cookie, but also I want it to flood well. Okay, I think that's better. So you can see it still runs, but it's thicker. That's perfect. Okay, and then we want some white, and I'm gonna do, maybe we'll do the bats. So I'll do white and black so you can see the difference. So I just add it in there, and then I just clip it at the end just a little bit. You can always add a bigger hole later. So I always start with a little bit smaller of a hole, and then you have your frosting. You can test out the consistency by pushing it out. I got this cookie cutter set from Amazon, cookie decorating set, and it is so cool. So you can just set your cookie on and then you can turn it, which is so cool. And then it came with these little clips, or it came with these little utensils that you can move the frosting around really easily. So I really like that. So I'm just gonna go on the outside of the ghost. I'm gonna let this dry for a couple of hours. So we'll just set our ghost down and we'll do all of our white borders, and then I'll show you the black. Cookie decorating has been so good for my mental health. Just gives me such a sense of accomplishment, and it's just been so fun. Okay, so we got that. And then we'll switch to the black. For the food coloring, to make it black, I'm going to use this lovely brand. It's Satin Ice. I got it from Michael's and it works so good. The black turns black really quickly. I actually haven't done the red yet, but I imagine it will. Just how black the black gets so easily. So I'm gonna put a little bit into the white frosting and I'll show you guys. Okay, so this is our white frosting. I'm gonna put just a couple drops in there and mix it together. So I made a bigger batch this time so you can see it's more like a gray. So I'm just gonna add a little bit more of the food coloring. And now we have our black, and I'm gonna add it to a piping bag. All right, so we have our piping bag. I put the cookie on my little cookie spinner, and then we're gonna do the outside, and then we'll fill in the inside. So I'm gonna try to do it all at once. So I just go along the outside edges. I drank a little bit too much caffeine this morning, so I'm a little shaky. Which I only had 2 cups of coffee, so my coffee must have been strong this morning. And then we'll just go in on the inside, and I'm just going back and forth. And I try to do a decent amount of frosting because I love frosting. Right, so we got that, and then I just pat it, and that helps it all kind of come together so you don't see the streaks. If you do see a streak, you'll just take that little tool and just like kind of swirl it together. And then we're gonna put our little bat eyes on. So you can make eyes too, but I just think this is so much easier. We have our cute little bat. We'll just set it out to dry. And then we'll switch to the next one. I need to get like a chip clip or something to clip this so that it doesn't leak through the top, but we'll just finish doing our bats, and then we'll switch. I'm making bats, pumpkins, ghost, cats. I think that's it. But I'm really excited. This kind of teaches me a skill of mastery, which really helps with depression and anxiety. And then it also, you see how it's coming through the top. I need to get something so that doesn't happen. And then also just like giving to others. So I'm excited to be able to hand these out. We're gonna go to my old neighborhood, probably tomorrow before Halloween or before we go trick-or-treating. I was debating going tonight, but I think we'll just do it all tomorrow. I think it'll confuse the kids a little bit less if we do all of it tomorrow. So there we go. We'll just repeat. All right, these are the end products. So I put 2 cookies in each bag. My original plan was to do 4 cookies per person, but these baggies are just so cute. And so I did 2. I have the ghost, pumpkins, the little bats underneath, and I do have a witch's hat too. Oh yeah, here's the witch's hat. I was gonna decorate a little bit more, but it was cute, just black like that. So you of course could make any type of sugar cookies. My next up is gonna be some for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I also have a friend who's having a birthday coming up. She's having a 50th birthday, and so I'm gonna make some cookies for her as well, which will be super fun. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you try the sugar cookies, let me know what you think. If you could, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.